This session is an introduction to academic planning and using the Arts and Science Calendar. I'm going to do the first part and Denise is going to do the second. I will try and stick to, yes. So this is the agenda for my part. So I get to see it right here. I will start with an introduction. The introduction is the largest part of what I have to say. It's some context for what you're going to learn for the rest of the morning about the calendar and about strategies for choosing courses. Then I will give you a very brief few comments about arts and science and how you are one of its newest members. And then I have a page of tips. But let me start by saying that when you joined the University of Toronto by accepting your offer of admission, you joined a very large academic community of learning and of research. It's 97,000 students over 3 campuses, University of Toronto at Mississauga, University of Toronto at Scarborough, and the downtown campus, also called the St. George campus. On the St. George campus alone, there's 65,000 students. And as I already mentioned, there's 15,000 faculty and instructors here helping you learn. But we have 44 libraries that now contain over a petabyte of information. And we're also part of the UHN, the University Health Network, the largest hospital network in Canada. So there's lots to recommend the University of Toronto. And in the days and years ahead, we really hope that you will learn more about what this university has to offer for the simple reason, and that is that how it is uniquely appealing to you. If you've joined the University of Toronto, you've also joined a very large faculty. In fact, the largest faculty, the Faculty of Arts and Science, when you accepted your offer. This faculty has 7 colleges. It has 28,000 students. It has 29 academic departments. It's got 45 interdisciplinary units like centers and schools. It's got, we offer 4,500 courses a year that belong to 340 programs of study. Again, the point is there's a lot here to choose from. Choices abound in the Faculty of Arts and Science. Often in departments, you can find both traditional and new approaches to the exact same subject matter. The more you learn about what is available to you, the perhaps easier it is to make decisions about what you are going to choose among the vast number of opportunities available to you. So U of T, Faculty of Arts and Science, it does get a little smaller. I mentioned on the last slide, there's 7 colleges in the Faculty of Arts and Science. Innis College is one of the smallest colleges. We take 7.5% of the population each year. So we have 7.5% of the Faculty of Arts and Science. So we have about 2,200 students, and this year we're welcoming about 550 of you into first year. How do they break down? This slide shows that this year, not unlike the past couple of years, about 45% of our students are Canadian citizens. 45% of our students are here on study permits from the other 46 countries in addition to Canada represented in our population this year. And we also have 10% permanent residents, a number that remains pretty constant year over year. So that's the population you are a part of. I mentioned 46 countries. Here are the top 6. I'm going to see how clear the slide came out. Oh yeah, you can actually read what those countries are. And these countries, again, are usually typically representative of our international population. These slides will also be uploaded to the Quercus Innis 101 page. As we move through, there's going to be more hyperlinks attached to these slides. So U of T, Arts and Science, Innis College, it's all about you and the choices that are available to you. Perhaps you know exactly what it is you've come here to study. Perhaps it's a very utilitarian approach that you're coming to study medicine to do the following and specialize in this area, and that's where you're going to work. And perhaps you have a different approach and you're really just trying to sort of, you've come for the opportunity just to learn, learning for learning's sake, or perhaps most likely it's a combination of both. You have a pretty good idea of what you want to study, but it could change. Besides, as you know, there's so many options available to you that you might find something new and unexpected in one of those, 4,500 courses in 340 different programs. So again, we know you've come here to learn and most likely to apply that learning. And we want to help you. And so we want you to know, which is why we brought you here this morning and brought faculty and staff from Innis, that you've joined a supportive academic community that wants to help you succeed. There's faculty, as I just said, staff, there's students, there's upper year students, there's mentors, there's people who represent specialized services. all here to help you. There are also online resources available. There are many, but the ones that the Innis Registrar's Office happens to host are the ones that made it to this slide. Ask a Student is a tool that we started in 1999. It was the first student forum endorsed by the University of Toronto and established when the internet came into existence. And it has operated since then. There are years when it has as many as 175,000 views and over 100 questions. It started at Innis, but we now support it for the entire University of Toronto. And each year we have an Ask a Student coordinator. And you will have seen that our newest Ask a Student coordinator, if you're following Ask a Student, has posted as recently as 2 days ago to comment on somebody's question about why they would go to U of Tears. The answers in Ask a Student are designed to both entertain and educate. So take a look at Ask a Student for your own entertainment. We also do Innis Answers, more recent development, started in 2016. There's usually a couple of students. This year we had 3 Innis students working on Innis Answers, which is short videos that you have perhaps seen on our Instagram page. They are hosted on the Innis Registrar Instagram page, and they are created by students for students. Fast Forward is a tool that I created with Ben Weststraight, who has been instrumental in helping orchestrate the morning along with Denise, and who's going to be giving a session this afternoon on the expansion. Ben and I came up with Fast Forward as a way of allowing students coming into university to see what other students before them did. Fast Forward is an opportunity for alumni. We started at Innis, but now it's for all of arts and science to join. We'll pull up a profile and say what they did as students here, what programs they were in, if they switched programs, what they did inside the classroom, what they did outside the classroom, and what they've done beyond the classroom, and what they're doing now. So when students are thinking in the middle of the night, what am I going to do with this degree? There's always Fast Forward to take a look at. And this is a tool that we're quite proud of because people stay on these pages longer than most, according to our Google Analytics. And finally, we also offer Starter Kit WeChat, which is 2 of our students who have co-opted one of their WeChat accounts to provide information for first-year students to help them adjust into first year. So you may also have seen our Starter Kit WeChat. It's a, because it's up and operating. So there's a lot of information. You'll hear from people, you'll find it online. What you want to do is collect as much information as possible, because remember, I said there was so many choices. You want to make a good decision based on as much information that you can collect as possible, and you want it to be reliable. Remember that your Innis Registrar's Office is a reliable first stop for these things. Our office provides one-to-one advising for all students. We meet with over half of our students each year in one-to-one advising appointments. That's in addition to answering thousands of email questions and in-person drop-ins. But just to give you a sense of what we do, we help students synthesize information, we outline options for them, we help them assess their interests and their aptitudes. But we offer advice on programs and courses and degree and what to do beyond and experiential learning. We also offer some coaching on adapting to first year and good study skills. We perform crisis intervention. So if you're running into a difficulty, the registrar's office can help you work those things out through petitions to help you make it over a bump. Remember, I started by saying sometimes university comes with challenges and we're here to help. So, and we can also make referrals. So, yes, I'd like to say that we provide accurate information and sound academic and related advising in an atmosphere of trust, confidentiality, and comfort, and that we can also arrange referrals to other specialized and professional services, both around the university and in the city. It is also, it's so much a part of what we do every day that I felt I almost forgot to include a slide to let you know that EDI, equity, diversity, and inclusion is a large part of what we do every day. That's not just accommodating things like religious observances in classes and exams or connecting students to accessibility services. But this university also offers offices like the SGDO, the Sexual Gender and Diversity Office, the Anti-Racism and Cultural Cultural Services Office, Community Safety Office, the Sexual Violence Prevention and Support Office. This university has put together a call to the answering the call of the Truth and Reconciliation Calls to Action. In 2020, we worked on and have created the university created a response to anti-Black racism in this country at this university. Innis College also, with our principal, put together a Black student experience working group made up of students and alumni who then made recommendations to a Black student experience implementation group. The university has just put forward an anti-racism report, anti-Asian racism report last month that we will be looking at the recommendations of. But also on a day-to-day basis, I feel like it's important that you understand that all members of our academic integrity enjoy the rights of free speech, but that is not limitless, and that we understand that discrimination exists, whether its impact is understood by the person who is receiving it or delivering it, and that whether it is intended or not. These are issues that we take seriously, and I have put this slide up so that you all know that this is something that this university does pay close attention to. We introduced in 2020 the student U of T student equity census, and it's gone through a few revisions, but we're quite proud of the census, and it looks at questions of gender identity, sexual orientation, disability, Indigenous identity, race and ethnographic identity, and also educational attainment of parents. And we use this information to inform what we do at this university. So I also wanted to make a note just very briefly in my introduction about information technology. You will all learn more about this, and you will learn so much today that you will by the end of the day, there's a whole bunch of things you will know about that you didn't know about in the morning, and you will learn more details about all of them. But you will all get an email account ending in mail.utoronto.ca, and we are very proud of the fact that it does include a terabyte of OneDrive file storage, and that you get all the latest Microsoft Office features, and these are all protected with UTR MFA, multi-factor authentication. So we take the security of our students quite seriously, and we also expect that students recognize that these are resources that are intended to help you. They're very powerful resources, and you are also allowed to use them for your personal use within a context of what is fair, meaning how much information or how much space is being consumed, and what is the content, is it potentially harmful. But this is available to you. And just be sure that you recognize the gravity of potential consequences when using the data. But yes, I've almost done my introduction. You've already met the staff. I've reminded you that Jack is online answering your questions now and always. I'd also just like to say, we recognize that we're custodians of a lot of information about registration, enrollment, fees and funding, rules and regulations, petitions and appeals, but also the undergraduate experience from the time you come in to the time you graduate. And we take our accountability to you very seriously. And we want you to know that with our accumulated experience of student matters and of arts and science, we can offer you objective, personalized advice and help you create opportunities to excel. If you're feeling restless about any matter of being a student, your registrar's office is a good first point of contact. I'm just checking the time. I'm doing well. Sorry. Yes, as I congratulate myself. This introduction has been about supports available to you. And I've talked a lot about the registrar's office because we want you to know that we are here for you at any point. There are many other support systems available to you at the University of Toronto. And those start here at Innis College. We have a writing center. Innis has the very first writing center in Canada. It was started by David King and Evelyn Cotter. In the meantime, all universities, of course, have writing centers, but we are very proud of the continued support that our writing center offers. Little hint, if you're going to be using the writing center, and many of you will, you'll want to book your appointments with them early because the writing center fills up. This is not a remedial service. This is a writing center that helps students figure out if they're writing B papers, how they can write A papers. If they're writing A papers, how they can make them even stronger. We're very proud of our writing center, and you will discover it on your own. So I don't need to keep going on about it, except to say, book early when you want to use them. We also have a learning strategist here at Innis. Her name is Megan Littlejohn, and I don't think she's in the room this morning, but I believe she may be coming this afternoon. Kate, are you here? Kate Johnson is our librarian, who I've seen twice already this morning and who you will meet this afternoon. These are linked, so you can get more information about all of these services. Our career educator, Hannah Stevenson, won't be joining us today, but is available for students. Our community wellness advisor is Tracy Doyle, and also Dana Zweig is also the assistant dean community wellness, who is available to students as well as to the faculty and staff to help us help students. And we have a accessibility advisor whose name is Sarah Wojciechowski, who I believe may also be coming this afternoon, but I know for sure is going to be offering a session in August along with some of the other services. So you will be invited to a Zoom gathering again in the summer to find out more about these services. The Office of Student Life, you've already heard Steve, and in the afternoon there are going to be more sessions as part of this welcome about student life, but one of the things you will hear about is the e-mentorship program. But there is also, just so you know, for the years coming up, there's an alumni mentorship program, which is mostly for upper year students. And Arts and Science offers something that you are all well aware of. It's the Arrive Ready program, which started in May. Which also has a mentoring program component attached to it. So there are all sorts of opportunities to meet upper year students, like the e-mentoring program that Steve's team is starting, and this Arrive Ready program. The Arrive Ready is more geared towards your admission stream. And know that in addition to, Karen and Charlie both said, come and talk to me. They are very approachable. Departments, how many did I say? 29 departments, 45 institutes. This place is filled with instructors who are interested in helping you learn. So don't hesitate to reach out to them. Yes, they do appear intimidating, and they actually know a lot of other subject matter, making it all the more intimidating, but they have office hours. They're there so that you can go and see them. You will hear this again through the day, but really, if you're not sure of something in a lecture, don't let that stagnate. Get on top of it right away. Go and talk to a professor. Go and talk to one of the TAs. They're all here to help you learn. And also the University of Toronto more widely offers many supports, but I threw two up on the monitor, up on the screen, just to point out. The University of Toronto, my SSP, my Student Support Program, it started before the pandemic, but it was a real boom during the pandemic because my SSP is 24-hour immediate support around the world in 35 different languages and by chat in simplified Chinese, English, French, and Spanish. And they also do ongoing support by phone in 146 languages. So a really helpful tool if you feel that you need to talk to somebody. There is also a tool called Navi, which is an online navigator for mental health at the university. You'll see it in the upper right-hand corner of a lot of screens of the U of T website. So it helps you navigate mental health resources, and it also pings you to registrarial and academic resources as well. So that is my introduction. So we switched from blue to this sort of green. So if that's a context for the Faculty of Arts and Science, I wanted to spend just a minute explaining what the purpose is of an undergraduate degree in the Faculty of Arts and Science at the University of Toronto. And in its most condensed form, I would say that the Faculty of Arts and Science degree offers breadth of knowledge, depth of knowledge, competencies in learning and applying learning, and integration of skills and knowledge. So the breadth of knowledge is this degree is set up, and Denise will be explaining it to you, but it is set up in such a way that all students do have some breadth. They don't just focus on one thing. And that breadth allows them to understand or give them some sense of the richness of the arts, the complexity of global cultures, and the varied structures, processes, and even ideas of the social and natural world. All students are also focused on at least one program of study. And within that one program of study comes your depth of knowledge that cultivates your critical understanding and brings intellectual rigor on your part to one area of study. The competencies in learning and applying learning are basically what we hope and expect students to come out with after completing this undergraduate degree. And they're four. Critical and creative thinking, communication, information literacy, and quantitative reasoning. No, there is 5. Social and ethical responsibility. Those are the 5 things we feel confident in saying that students who have a degree from the University of Toronto's Faculty of Arts and Science have learned by the time they graduate when you go out to the world. So just a few words about that last one, integration of skills and knowledge. There's in your program of study, you're working towards focusing more and more, and we aim to get to a capstone opportunity. And capstone opportunities do exist in upper year courses, but really so many courses in the Faculty of Arts and Science give you this applied learning, which I said from the very beginning, you have tons of choices, but we know that you've come to learn and to apply your learning. There are many ways to apply your learning while you're studying. And there are these 400 series capstone courses. Independent study are in 400, but in your final year, you can, if you have an idea of a project within your department, you can approach your department and a prof and work on it with them for degree credit. We have internships, we have field courses in a lot of our life science programs, but also in some of our humanities programs. There's laboratories, of course, chemistry, biology, physics has labs. Studios, not just in fine art, service learning in a number of courses, taking you out into the community. So community involvement, we have a formalized research opportunity program in second year where students get to work with a prof, sometimes a small number of students work with a prof on their project, which is a nice way of sort of preparing students for third year and fourth year focused opportunities. There's summer research excursions, there's study abroad, there's exchange programs. There's the internationalized or indigenous course module program, which is during the break in each of the terms, a professor might choose to take students to New York to see something or abroad or to an indigenous community. There's the Jackman Humanities Institute undergraduate fellowship in humanities, which Charlie could probably at some point answer more questions about since he's been a Jackman Humanities Institute scholar. And then we also have, I put it last because it's a very long list. But there is also ASIP, which is the Arts and Science Internship Program. Some of you have heard of Professional Experience Year. Professional Experience Year is now folded into the Arts and Science Internship Program. And again, we understand that this is a morning geared towards helping you, jump in and get started and transitioning into first year. But I would like you to understand that these are the things that you get to work towards, including, as I said, although it's just at the bottom, it's also quite significant, the Arts and Science Internship Program, which is a big deal these days. Few general words about experiential learning, because this is really a direction that the university is moving in and that I think many universities are moving in, whether it's related to your academic curriculum or to your extracurriculars. Experiential learning opportunities can deepen your understanding of course content and perhaps even focus your direction for life beyond your undergraduate years. Your experiential learning, there's websites dedicated to this, but it's governed largely by your interest and your drive to get an experiential learning opportunity. And it's not a one-size-fits-all, so just keep yourself attuned to the fact that these things are available to you. But perhaps it's worth saying now that in first year, there's also ways of, this isn't necessarily applying your learning so much as it is making sure that you can connect in a small class with other people on focused topics that instructors who are full professors are offering to students. And you get, as in case you haven't figured it out, to also work very closely with a professor in a small class of like 20, 25 students in first year opportunities. These are, as I said, great small class experiences. The first year learning communities they're actually an extension of some programs, and Denise and the others will be talking about first year learning communities in the session that you're about to go to after this session. But I did just want to point out that these first year foundations abound. I think it's a little confusing, and there are a lot of terms that you're going to be learning about in this morning. So I find it confusing, so I think students would find it confusing that there are first year foundations that are both ones and seminars at Innis. But the ones are a collection of programs offered by each of the 7 colleges. The first year foundation seminars are, I can't remember, 120 of them these days that are offered, but Innis offers 13 this year. Our principal has solicited 13 professors from around the Faculty of Arts and Science to offer these courses here at Innis College. principally for Innis students. And again, you will hear more about this, but it's one of the few opportunities where Innis students get first crack at these courses that have been set up here for first-year students to meet with a professor, get to know other students, and get to also be more familiarized than perhaps in a typical class with the resources available to you. So when you hear more today about first-year foundations, pay attention, because I think you might be really interested in them. I said I would end with a few tips. So these are things that I've just written down because I've heard students say over the years, if only I had known. So because I'm sure I have a few minutes to do this, I'm just going to go through them really quickly. They're all linked and they will all be on the Quirkus page, but I've already talked about Ask a Student. I've mentioned Kate, our librarian, but the librarians are very useful for one-to-one help. Just Kate is, you'll learn, she's upstairs. And there's also discipline specific librarians in Robarts Library, which we are fortunately right next door to. So they can help with all sorts of things, including referencing, which is going to be important to you. You don't realize it now, but it will be. The University of Toronto library system also offers something that people are a little surprised at first to learn about, and that is there is an old exam repository. So you can actually find out, you can see old exams in courses that you are taking. The Arts and Science Student Union also has some of these. You need to know from the get-go that professors appreciate you reaching out during office hours with course-related questions. It's helpful to know that there are techniques for writing multiple choice exams. Some students don't realize that there's you can take a course online to figure out how to do this. Know that there are employment opportunities all over campus. I am not saying that you should all reach out and get a job. You've come here to learn, but we do have work study opportunities, and there are thousands of work study opportunities, some of them research-based, some of them not connected to programs. The Registrar's office, for instance, offers, I talked about Innis Answers. Those are work study opportunities where the 3 students get together and make videos for our office. So there are employment opportunities on campus for domestic as well as for international students. Yes, experiential learning is basically the same point. And know that there are grants if you are in a financial bind. You just saw Daniela walk in. She's the person to talk to about financial, any financial details that you're concerned about. And also, don't forget that I'm not telling you anything you don't know. You've heard this before, that learning from mistakes is a good thing. And I told you about fast forward. So my end sort of rambles and peters off, but those are my tips. And that means now you get to hear from Denise.
Okay, thanks, Donald. That's a lot of information. I realized when I sat down that I failed when I went through the agenda to let the students know who are accessing this academic orientation and welcome via Zoom that there are different Zoom links for the different components of the day. They're all listed in the Innis 101 Quirkus. So please look at the agenda and the Innis 101 Quirkus and you'll find the appropriate Zoom link. The other thing that I want to say, and you'll find this to be a bit of a running theme, starting with our principal's comments and with Donald's comments, is that there's a ton of information you're going to learn today. We don't expect you to remember it all. Honestly, it's a lot. If there is something that we really hope that you take away from this day is that you have people. You're not going through this alone. Upper year students remember very well what it's like to be in your shoes and are eager to help you work through it. The registrar's office staff, I mean, one thing I think we didn't mention is Donald's been in this role since 1999. Claudia's been in this role since 2000. I think I've been in the role since 2006. I mean, think about it. I think you were all still in diapers in 2006. We have a lot of institutional knowledge and experience. So there's nothing really that I feel like we haven't heard before. So by all means, feel free to use our expertise and experience. All right, without further ado, sorry, Donald. All right, we're going to talk about degree requirements and using the Arts and Science Academic Calendar. So this is a screenshot of the front page of the academic calendar. This is a 2023-2024 version. This is a very comprehensive document that includes all of the courses that are offered by the Faculty of Arts and Science, the opportunities, a lot of the opportunities that Donald referred to in his presentation, the rights and responsibilities as a student, rules and regulations that you will be expected to adhere to, all of the programs and courses that we offer, and so on. It used to be printed. And when it was printed on like newspaper prints, very fine paper, it was still about 1.5 inches thick. It is a very comprehensive document. It also includes the steps that you need to complete to earn your degree from here. So we're going to focus on degree requirements for the remainder of this presentation. Okay, so if I click on that degree requirements link, it comes to a page that looks like this. There, the Honors Bachelor of Arts and Honors Bachelor of Science degree requirements are the same. The basic requirements are the same. Bachelor of Commerce degree requirements are just slightly different. For the purposes of this talk, we're going to focus on that first link, but I know that there are commerce students in the room, and the reason we're focusing on that first link is really there's only one difference. And so when we get to that one difference, then I will highlight for you what that one difference is. So this these next portions are relevant to everybody. Okay, so we click on that link and we get to a page that looks like this. There are 5 steps that you need to complete to earn your degree from U of T in the Faculty of Arts and Science. And we'll go through each of these steps one at a time so that you can understand how you can incorporate that into your course selection. So the number of credits, which is the first item on the list, is you need to earn 20 credits to complete your degree. Courses here are valued at 1 full credit or a half a credit, and you take a combination of full and half credit courses to make 20. So how do you know what the credit value is from looking at a course code? All course codes have 7 characters. The second to last character will either be an H or Y. If it's an H, it means the course is valued at a half credit. If it's a Y, it means the course is valued at a full credit. In almost all cases, but there are a few exceptions, a half credit course will be semester based. So it will run from September to December or January to April. And a Y course, a full credit course, will be full year. So it'll start in September and it'll end at the end of the academic year in April. There are a few notable exceptions, which you will learn about in the next session, in the timetable session, how to figure out if a course is an F term, the first semester, the S term, the second semester, also known as the winter term, or if it's a full year long. Okay, a 100% course load. So remember, you have 20 credits to graduate. If you are expecting to be on a 4-year trajectory here, a 100% course load is taking 5 credits per year, and it's balanced out between 5 courses per semester. But to be considered full-time and OSAP eligible, you need to be enrolled in at least 3 credits per year. But the university doesn't require you to be full-time. You can attend part-time. You can take a half credit a year for 40 years if you wanted to earn your degree. The parents are laughing right now, but elbowing you to say, don't do that. And you can take a maximum of 6 credits during the fall winter session. We also recommend that you don't do that because that's a lot of work. It's considered 120% enrolled and it's a lot of work. You can take up to 2 credits in the summer. So if you wanted to take fewer credits during the fall winter because you wanted just to pace yourself a little bit better, but you wanted to still stay on that 4-year trajectory, then you can take a course in the summer just to stay on the right path. Okay, next. Oh, there was also, we have 2 runners in the back of the room with microphones. There will be an opportunity at the end of the session to ask any questions, but if you have a question that's burning right now, you know, you're welcome to raise your hand and then we can run down with a microphone for you. Okay, so out of those 20 credits, we have 4 different levels of credits, 100, 200, 300, and 400 level credits, and they roughly correspond to your year of study. So 100 level credits, first year, 200, second year, and so on. Out of the 20 credits you need to earn to be eligible to graduate, you need to have at least 13 of those credits at the 200 level or higher. And of those 13, at least 6 need to be at the 300 level or higher. So this means that we recommend that you don't take more than 7 credits at the 100 level. For those students who are coming in with advanced standing credits from AP or IB or GCE, or if you're a transfer student and you have some transfer credits from your previous university, this could get a little bit tricky, but we can help you out in the registrar's office to help you navigate that. But really, the recommendation is to stay within 7 credits of the 100 level and then advance to 200 level or higher. Now, I did say that it was roughly corresponding to your year of study, but there are opportunities for you to take a 200 or 300 level course even in your first year. An example of that might be if you have a proficiency in a language that you wanted to continue, you wouldn't start at the 100 level. You would likely take a language proficiency test to see at what level would be most appropriate for you to continue that study in that language. So French is a really common one where you would have to take a French language placement test if you wanted to continue your studies in French, and then you would likely place at the 200 or 300 level. And then you could take that course in your first year. Many upper year courses have 100 level prerequisites. These are courses that you needed to have taken first before you can advance to the 200 or 300 level of the course. Okay. How do you find out what level the course is? You can see in that my highlighted in red example, that 7-digit course code, the 3 middle numbers will tell you the level of the course. It's the first of those 3 numbers that will designate whether it's 100, 200, 300, or so on. Okay. So your programs, lots of people probably asking you, oh, you're going to U of T. What is it that you're going to study? This is what they mean. What is your program of study? What is your focus of your credits that you're taking? You will be taking courses from across the breadth and scope of the Faculty of Arts and Science. Even if you're in the sciences, you'll be taking humanities courses, and we'll explain to you in the upcoming slides why. But your program is your main area of study. So what is it that you really wanted to do? We have 3 different styles of programs here: specialist, major, and minor. And if you're choosing to pursue a specialist, you're specializing. It's the most number of credits in that one specialized area will be out of out of your 20 credits if you're pursuing a specialist. So a specialist takes anywhere from 9 to 16 credits to complete, with more credits at the 300 and 400 level that are required than for a major or a minor. If you wanted to take fewer credits in that subject area, you could pursue a major or a minor. Minor is just 4 credits, and major is between 6 and 8. We have 3 different ways to access these programs for your degree requirements. We require that students complete either, at minimum, you could do more, at minimum 1 specialist, or 2 majors, or 1 major plus 2 minors. So 1 specialist or 2 majors, or 1 major plus 2 minors at minimum. This is the difference for those students who are in the commerce admission category. You have no choice, but you must pursue a specialist in one of those 3 options. So accounting, finance and economics, or management. But really, that's the only difference for the commerce folks. You could do more than this, and you also don't need to stick within your admission category. You could choose to do a science major and an arts major, or 2 minors in an arts program and a science major. You really can mix and match according to your interests, to your skills, to what it is that you wanted to do in the future. There isn't a right combination either. I often get asked, like, what's the right thing to do? It really all depends on what your interests are and what it is that you'd like to do with it. So an example that I use sometimes is students who might be interested in pursuing a major in international relations might then take on and work in a Spanish-speaking country, might want to take on a minor in Latin American studies and a minor in Spanish as well. And then they can put all of that, that diversity of skills together in their undergraduate degree. Okay. So how do we know what, so this is back to the main page of the Arts and Science Calendar. How do we know what we have to offer? So in the upper left-hand corner of the calendar is a alphabetical listing of all of the programs and departments that are within the Faculty of Arts and Science. If you click on that link, you get to a page that looks like this, and you can scroll down through the many different options. And when you click on that link, so I've used an example here from Cinema Studies, you can see a description of the department, and then you can see that we offer a cinema studies specialist and a major and a minor. It is worth noting that not every department offers all three options. Some only offer a specialist, or some only offer a major, or some only offer a minor. So it is really worth looking through this list, making a list of any potential programs that you think that you might find interesting, reading what is required for admission to that program, reading the courses that are required to complete the program to get a sense of what it is that you wanted to do. You don't need to declare or apply for your program of study until the end of your first year, once you've passed at least 4 credits. So for most of you, that'll happen in April. But it is important to have an idea of what it is you want to do, because that will inform your course enrollment. Some programs have very specific first year requirements that you need to take in order to be eligible to apply for that program and be admitted into it. And sometimes there's a specific grade requirement for those courses that you take in first year. So what you don't want to happen is to get to the end of first year and realize you didn't take the right courses to get into your attended program. And we're going to cover this in greater detail in the timetable session. Okay, so the 4th degree requirement that we'll talk about is your cumulative grade point average. So this refers to your marks. This chart here shows you that marks are given out in 3 ways. One is in terms of percentage, 50% and higher is passing. These ranges of percentages translate to a letter grade, and each letter grade has a grade point value on a 4-point scale. At the end of each academic session, of which there are 2, the fall winter is 1 and the summer session is the other, your cumulative grade point average is calculated for academic standing. And at each one of those checkpoints, your academic standing, in order to be in good standing, you need to have at least a 1.5 or higher. In order to be eligible to graduate, your cumulative grade point average needs to at least be a 1.85 or higher. And the way that's calculated is your individual grade point values divided by, or the sum total of your grade point values divided by the number of credits attempted. Okay, and then the last of the 5 degree requirements is the breadth requirement. The breadth requirement, this is what, there's a fly here. The breadth requirement is, oh my gosh, go away. A way of diversifying your degree to make your undergraduate experience more well-rounded. All of the courses in the Faculty of Arts and Science are categorized under one of these 5 broad subject headings. And you can just have an idea, perhaps by looking at the titles of these subject headings, what kinds of courses would fall under what category. So in breadth category 5, for example, would your chemistry courses, physics, math. In breadth category 4, you would find biology, environmental studies. Breadth category 3 would be things like economics. Oh my gosh, it's stacking me. History, right? As if I'm not nervous enough, right? Economics, history, political science. In breadth category 2, religion, philosophy, psychology. In breadth category 1, languages, arts, cinema studies, things like that. Okay, so how do you know? Oh, the rule is that within your 20 credits, you must earn at least 1 full credit in 4 out of these 5 categories, or 1 full credit in 3 out of the 5, plus a half credit in each of the other 2. And this doesn't need to happen in your first year or every year. It's just at some point within your 20 credits. And courses that you're taking towards your program will also help fulfill the breadth requirement. So for example, those students in the life sciences will be taking chemistry and will be taking biology, and that knocks off full credit in breadth category 5 and breadth category 4. And then you just have to worry about 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so these are course descriptions from the calendar that I have taken out. Each one of the course descriptions will tell you on the bottom line which breadth category the course falls under. They're laughing because I chose Hungarian 100. I've taken all the Hungarian language courses here, plus the Hungarian literature course here. I highly recommend it if you're looking for an interesting language to take. So that falls under breadth category 1. Anthropology is an interesting example because it's a full credit course. You know that from the Y in the second to last character. It straddles two different breadth categories. So it falls under a half, it counts as a half credit in breadth category 3 and a half credit in breadth category 4. The urban studies course example, it's a half credit course because that H in that course code that falls under breadth category 3, for example.
You said it was a half requirement, anthropology in the 2, 4, and 3.
Mhm.
Can we pick it to be a full credit in one of the two, or does it have to be half in both?
So that's a really good question. The answer is no. It counts as a half credit in 3 and half credit in 4, no negotiation. Okay, so using the arts and science calendar to choose your courses, this is a sort of a flow chart of how we encourage you to think about choosing your courses. First, choose any program that go through that A to Z listing and choose programs that are in your area of interest. And then figure out, and I'll show you live if I can remember exactly how to do it. I'll show you live how you can use the calendar to see what your first year required courses are. Second, consider special opportunities like the first year foundation ones programs, the first year foundations at Innis courses that Donald was talking about in his presentation. Third, if you have room in your schedule and you still need to find a course and you want to make it feel like you're doing something that will help check off those degree requirements, choose something that would satisfy a different breadth requirement. And then lastly, any other elective. So if you just always wanted to learn a new language, we have so many language options. Or if there was something in the arts that really interested you that you didn't have access to in high school and they have it here, this is a great opportunity to take those kinds of courses. All right, so we're going to go live into the calendar.
So I kind of have a two-part question. My first question is, what's the main difference between the Foundation 1 and the Foundation seminars? And are we able to take both? Is that recommended? Just your thoughts on that.
That's a great question. And this is an answer to which we have been grappling with to try and how do we explain what the main difference is between the first year foundations and the ones programs. Thank you. Okay, thanks. And truthfully, there isn't a ton of difference. The ones programs there are a few that you actually have to apply for. And I believe for those ones, those application deadlines may have already passed. Other ones like the Innis 1 program, you can just enroll in the courses space dependent on your course enrollment day. The first year foundations courses, they're seminar style courses which means that it's much more discussion based rather than a straight lecture. The idea really behind all of these opportunities is that you have a small classroom experience. Some of your classes will be larger than you're used to. And the first year foundations and the ones programs courses are restricted only to first year students. So you can't take it if you don't take it in your first year. And they're restricted in size to just 25 students. Sometimes they have an experiential learning component built into the course. The first year foundations at Innis course incorporates the learning strategist and our librarian into the structure of the course as well. So there's a little bit more, it's a nicer way to help transition you to university style learning. And can you take both? Technically, in most cases you can. There may be some restrictions, and that'll be noted in the timetable, but we recommend that you really take no more than 1 credit of your 5 in these specialized kinds of courses, because they don't by and large count for any program requirements. They're really electives and they're really intended to help transition you to university. So limit, if you're going to be pursuing one of these opportunities, to really no more than 1 credit of your 5 in your first year. Okay, so here we are. Make this work. Okay, I would like somebody to shout out for me a department or program that they would like me to look at. Oh, shout it out. Come on. Biochemistry. All right. Thank you. Biochemistry. So here's a bit of a department description. Contact information. This is really important because as registrars, we are generalists. And the departments themselves are subject area experts. So if you have specific questions, like what's the difference between biochemistry and biological chemistry, gosh, they both sound the exact same to me. I don't know, but go to the department representatives and they can help tell you the difference and explain to you what the courses are that are involved. So biochemistry, you can see offers a specialist and a major. If you click on the major, you can see in your first year, you'll be taking bio 120, bio 130, chemistry 135 and 136 or 151. If you see courses divided or separated by a slash or oblique sign, it means or. A comma, semicolon, the word and or plus sign mean and. So you have options. So bio 120, bio 130, that's 1 full credit. Chemistry, that's 1 full credit, and a full credit of first year calculus. And we will explain in our next session what the difference is in those variants of course options within the same subject. So that's one example. You can see in the specialist, the same courses you would take in your first year. There are 14 credits to complete the specialist. For the major, there are, my guess is going to be 8. Let's see. 8 credits for the major. Okay, I think we have time for another. IR, okay. So international relations is one of those programs that's sponsored by a college. So the 7 colleges each also sponsor or support different programs, but they're open to everybody who, no matter which college you are affiliated with. So in international relations is supported by Trinity College, but Innis College students are equally eligible to join this program as Trinity College students. So international relations offers a specialist and a major. If you click on the major, you can see there are 7.5 credits that are required to complete it. And this information here will show you the enrollment requirements. You know that you'll be taking chemistry, economics in your first year, and 1 full credit from among this list of options for admission consideration at the end of your first year when you apply for the program. Question, and if I can get the microphone, thank you.
So for that, do you need to take a full year course as one of those, or because it's 1 credit, right?
Right, it's 1 credit. So you have the option of taking 2 half-credit courses or 1 full credit course.
Oh, so 2 of those,
Right,
or
so
if it's
so
one.
you need to take the full year of economics. And there are
Okay.
2 different options, either the 2 half-credit courses or the Eco 105, which is a full credit. And then 1 full credit from among these options here, from the geography course through the Vic course, that whole list there. So from these, if you decide to take GGR 112, you could take another half-credit course, let's say the political science 107, and that makes 1 full credit. Or if you took the history 103, that's also enough. That's a 1 credit course.
Thank you.
Sure. Oh, question over here.
I was looking at Timetable Builder and it mentioned something like called tutorials. Is it okay if you talk a little bit more about that?
I will, but in the interest of time, I will tell you that we will cover it ad nauseum in the next session.
So as an IB student, I took economics this past year,
Mhm.
HL economics. So I'm hoping to then get that transfer credit. So if I was looking to do international relations and I did end up transferring that credit, would I then take the 200 course, or would I just have less credits in the, or less classes to take in the first year?
So when you get your transfer credit assessment, you'll receive a chart that will explain how you can use that transfer credit. And I can tell you, unfortunately, that economics will give you a generic credit in economics that's not usable for admission to a program. So you actually will have to take economics over again. But for those students who will be getting transfer credits that are like from advanced standing, IB, AP, that are usable for admission to a program, then you can take fewer credits in your first year, or you may have the prerequisite to take the 200 level course in your first year. Okay. Okay, yes, one last question for now, and then we'll move on to the next slides. end of the row. Yeah.
So do full credit courses merge two half credit courses? Are they more demanding than the half credit ones?
So it's different content. So are you asking specifically why there are two different economics options?
No, just in general, because does it reduce the workload? Because
Right, so it really is program specific. So for economics 105, you can read the course description to get a better sense of what content is covered, but it's actually the content will tell you, the description will tell you that it's the non-math version of Intro to Economics, while the Eco 101 and Eco 102 are really the more math intensive version of the two different micro and macroeconomics courses. I showed you an example earlier about chemistry. Chemistry 135 and chemistry 136 are organic and physical chemistry. And there is a chemistry 151 option. And in that case, that course is more demanding, and it is an accelerated version, and as in a third component to the chemistry, inorganic, along with the physical and organic chemistry. So really, the answer is not so straightforward. It really depends on the course. But thankfully, there's a course description and your people who can help you to navigate these sorts of things. Okay, I'm going to attempt to get back into the presentation. So to summarize, when you're choosing your courses, use the calendar. It's a really great document. Don't be afraid of it. There's a lot of information there, but hopefully now some of the things that you're looking at will start to make a little bit more sense. Choose a few programs that you may be interested in, and you may find that in many cases, the courses are the same. So for those of you in life sciences, for example, in almost all cases, you'll be taking a full year of bio and chemistry and at least a half year of calculus. And so that alone, those 2.5 credits make you eligible for dozens of programs. So there may be some overlap in your interests. Prioritize your first year required courses for those programs and then pick your electives. Rank your chosen courses in order of priority. And we'll talk about this a little bit more in the next session about how the course enrollment day is, it goes fast, courses do fill up. So you want to make sure that you prioritize the courses you need over the courses that you just want. Balance your course load for both terms. So if you plan on taking 5 credits worth of courses, that's 5 courses per semester. And then connect with your people, ask us questions, you keep us employed. This is what we're here for. We have lots of experience, and we are happy we would prefer if you asked us questions, even if you felt like it was a simple question. It may be hugely important to your course enrollment, so please don't hesitate to ask.